Good morning. I'm King County Executive Dow Constantine. I'm here today to kick off a comprehensive 2-year project to better serve those who have served our country. I'm joined by those who serve, in turn, our veterans, as we seek to better connect vets with the benefits they need and deserve. With the support of voters of King County through the Veterans and Human Services Levy, we've embarked on our first ever mapping of the labyrinth of federal and state and local services for veterans. It is a deceptively difficult task, but we have succeeded, and you can see the maps of the system that we have mapped behind us. Earlier this year, in my State of the County speech, I called for us to better connect veterans with the benefits and services they have earned. King County is home to 127,000 veterans and military personnel, from World War II vets in their 80s and 90s to men and women returning from the front lines today. They fulfilled their duty. Now we must fulfill our duty to them. To make sure our heroes come home to a grateful and welcoming nation that includes the programs and services they need to be housed, to be healthy, and to be successful in civilian life. I convened a team of special advisors, 5 extraordinary veterans who volunteered to lead us in this effort. General Peter Corelli, 32nd Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army, who is not able to join us today because he's receiving the Patriot Award from the Medal of Honor Society. Colonel Greta Kammermeyer, who's here with us today, as well as Iraq and Afghanistan vet Leo Flor, Vietnam vet Deborah Wood, and we also had with us on our committee of advisors Francisco Ibarra, who's a Vietnam veteran and Purple Heart recipient and chair of the King County Veterans Citizen Levy Oversight Board. Today I'm acting on their recommendation to launch a 2-year Regional Veterans Initiative funded by our voter-approved Veterans and Human Services Levy with 3 key actions. First, connect veterans, programs, and community agencies in a King County Veterans Services network so that veterans seeking services will immediately be directed to the right program, and all agencies will use the same assessment and screening tools. Second, support that network with Be the Connect workshops so that each program working with our veterans will know and understand what the other agencies are doing. Third, develop new tools to reach out to the veterans of the 21st century, including interactive websites, mobile applications, and social media. My 2014 proposed budget also includes continuation of our very successful HERO program, providing internships for veterans within King County government. I want to thank King County Council Member Reagan Dunn for his leadership in our creation of the HERO program. The strength of our Regional Veterans Plan is reflected in the individuals with me today. We are joined by our federal and state partners, the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs, the State Department of Veterans Affairs, and major military installations including Joint Base Lewis McChord. They have pledged to join with us to make our system for veterans and their families a model that others will want to emulate. I especially want to acknowledge and thank the members of the King County Veterans Program Advisory Board and the King County Veterans and Human Services Levy boards who have been instrumental in our efforts. Together, we will continuously improve the work we do for veterans. King County cares about our veterans. Our voters proved this with their overwhelming support for the renewal of the Veterans and Human Services Levy. The Regional Veterans Initiative is another demonstration of our commitment to honoring, of doing right by those who served our country. And I want you to hear from some of our special advisors and our partners. Colonel Greta Kammermeyer is a Vietnam veteran, former chief nurse of the Washington National Guard, and a champion for the rights of all Americans. I was honored when she agreed to serve as one of our Veterans Special Advisors. Please welcome Colonel Kammermeyer.
I live in Island County, and thought, why in the world would anybody call me up on Whidbey Island to come down and be part of this initiative? And thought about it from the geographic perspective. And then, as I stepped back, realized that when you're a veteran, you're always a veteran. It doesn't matter how long you've served, what service you're in, and yet it is that we are all part of a very special family. Having served in Vietnam, come back at a time when being a veteran was something that you did not acknowledge because of the feelings that had emulated here in the States, to be able to be part of an initiative that was celebrating, not only celebrating the service of individuals, but looking at ways of consolidating efforts to make their transition more easier, to make it so that it was meaningful, and to show that we were a grateful country for the service that had been given by those veterans, was really very, very humbling. And as I participated in this event, what was exciting also was to see how many people were really vested in caring for the veteran. I have never, and I was part of the VA system for 25 years, but I had never heard or seen a region, an area, a commitment such as King County has given to making sure that the veterans are cared for when they come home, that the opportunities are there, and then looking at how can we best serve them, and wondering whether or not we could make a difference. We, as part of the advisory committee, could make a difference in that. And this is where you really have the delusion of grandeur, of feeling that you are really powerful, because there were 5 of us involved in making recommendation. So we would go away and come back, and there would be these wonderful creations from, presumably, that we had some impact on helping, sort of focus and channel things a little bit. But to have that much influence, to see where King County is today and what has been created from the staff through their commitment, I think is absolutely extraordinary. And you have done a wonderful job in leading and supporting the efforts, and have just an extraordinary team in that regard. And to illuminate a little more on a partially, first step project is Leo Flor, who is a veteran and former U.S. infantry officer and special advisor for the Regional Veterans Initiative. And he was a strong voice for veterans, especially involved in the service mapping project that sort of was what was created out of this. And I have to say that his young mind, his intuitiveness, his dedication to the veterans, even though he was an infantry officer, has been extraordinary. And he's just passed his bar, and so he's now going to be there to deal with the legal component. That's a little P.S. It was not on here, but Leo.
Thank you, Greta. So it's been a privilege and continues to be a privilege to work with this great group of staff, to the executive, the fellow advisors, and then with the executive himself. As Greta alluded to, I am grateful and fortunate to be of a generation of veterans who came back to a different set of problems, and that set of problems was sometimes that the resources available were too complex. They were difficult to navigate, difficult to choose what could best be of service to a veteran or a veteran's family. And so in the military, the way that you begin to solve a problem like that is with a task organization chart. And that is, we call it a system map here, but that's been one of, I think, the most impressive accomplishments of the RVI so far, and I think it's going to inform our effort going forward. We use the metaphor that it's difficult to know what you're going to cook for dinner if you're not aware of what's in the refrigerator. And the issue in veterans work now is that the refrigerator has a state shelf, a federal shelf, a local shelf, a nonprofit shelf, a city shelf, and a private shelf. And to be able to bring all those ingredients together efficiently and effectively is difficult unless you understand what's on all of those shelves before you bring your recipe together. So to stop abusing that metaphor and just to sort of present the maps that we have here, and like all maps, if you have a good map, you still have to be able to actually navigate with that map and go forward. And that's our task now. There's a tremendous amount of goodwill. It's humbling to come in and see the work that so many have done for so long in work like this, and to join that, and with the state, federal, and other local partners in our region, to really, for the first time, understand that whole picture, to understand for a King County veteran who returns from Afghanistan tomorrow, to be able to say, this is everything that's in your refrigerator. So how can we help you help yourself now? And that's been, I think, the one of the signature accomplishments of our efforts here, and that's why I'm excited about this going forward. And we have a real opportunity to turn all this goodwill into better outcomes, good outcomes for veterans. So it's been a pleasure. I'll be followed here by Deb Wood, and I'm going to look at this because I never get the board names right, but she is the chair and a special advisor from the King County Veterans Program Advisory Board, and she has been instrumental in this process as well. In a particularly strong voice in our meetings for women veterans, and then just for the veterans' perspective, that we need to make sure that we're always accounting for what a veteran is going to be able to see and what's going to make sense to a veteran. So with that.
Thank you, Leo. Well, as Leo said, I am chair of the King County Veterans Program Advisory Board, and I think King County is privileged to not only have one board, but two boards that look out for veterans and their families and participate in the oversight and leadership in veterans issues. The King County Veterans Program Advisory Board and the Veteran Citizen Levy Oversight Board, which oversees the veteran side of the levy passed by the voters. Both boards are built on the premise that veterans themselves need to be part of the solution to the challenges all veterans face when they return. Veterans need to help veterans. Veteran board participation in the RVI has been essential to ensure the voice of the veteran is incorporated in all the RVI discussion and focus groups. I have been proud to represent my board in the development of the RVI, and we are committed to participating and ensuring the success of the initiatives as we move forward. So it's been a great privilege to work in this group, and thank you so much for including me and my board. So I'd like to introduce to you Rocco Bagala. He's the Associate Director for Social Work at the VA Puget Sound Healthcare System. He is here representing Michael J. Murphy, the Director. And I can't stress enough how the partnership between the federal government, the state government, and King County will be key to the success of this initiative. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And as Deborah said, I'm here representing the VA, and on behalf of all the veterans and the veterans' families in the audience here, welcome home and thank you for your service. It's been a long time that the veterans have been able to get the assistance that they need. We deal with a very vulnerable and disadvantaged group of veterans who really need this initiative. So on behalf of the VA Puget Sound healthcare system, we look forward to working with King County and the Regional Veterans Initiative and its efforts to overcome the fragmentation, increase coordination, and improve the alignment of community, state, and federal agencies for King County veterans and families. that's really important because we have to do this as a team. We can't do this as individual groups trying to provide services to veterans. We really need to be able to partner with the community, and this is a great initiative to do that. We feel that the effort is important not only for our expanded veterans communities, but for the greater community at large. In assisting this vibrant and integral population, it positively affects every neighborhood where veterans reside. Again, the VA has been a proven track record of collaboration with King County through initiatives such as the 5-year plan to end homelessness, cross referrals for health and behavioral services, our Veterans Justice Outreach Program to outreach to incarcerated veterans who might need treatment as opposed to being incarcerated. And also participation and development in this regional service maps. Again, we're excited to build on these collaborative efforts, and we fully support and endorse this Regional Veterans Initiative report and recommendations, and we look forward to being a strong partner in this endeavor. Now I have the honor of introducing Mary Forbes, who's the Assistant Director of the Washington Department of Veteran Affairs. Mary oversees the Veteran Services and Behavioral Health Services Division of the Washington State Department of Veteran Affairs. King County and the state has a strong partnership in serving local veterans. She will speak on how the Regional Veterans Initiative will strengthen that partnership.
Well, thank you. And on behalf of Governor Inslee and our Director of your Washington Department of Veterans Affairs, Alfie Alvarado, we are just so excited about the efforts here in King County, and that really you do lead the nation in this effort. And you could see just from the presentation and from the elaborate report, it's really a business plan. And that's what's so striking, is that you've gone after looking for the profit margin here. How can we best and with the most efficacy help our veterans and their families, at the same time really conserve our resources and integrate them and synchronize them. And that's really the huge thing here, is the partnerships that we have, and that we're not only partners, but we are friends, and we can pick up the phone and call each other here in the room and say, hey, how can we help with this veteran and the family? And that's been so key. And as we go across the state, and even when I'm at the national level, we point to these things that King County's been able to accomplish, because it is quantified, it's measured, it's outcome oriented, but it's always with the veteran at the center. So we are looking forward to this continued partnership to continue to raise the bar. King County's been poised over the years to go after, enable nonprofits, to go after federal funding and bring things here like our housing for veterans. And I just see that even more as you're positioned with this awesome mapping and demonstration of a roadmap forward. So thank you, and look forward to many things great to come. I'll be followed by Mark Brown, who I work with a lot at Joint Base Lewis-McChord. He's the director of the human resources there. And for probably 4 or 5 years now, we've been working on our own map that looks like boiling the sea, as this does, to try to go upstream and help our veterans before they become veterans 12 to 18 months before they come active duty, so they can synchronize that and get them into the community with the highest quality. So, Mark?
Thank you, Mary. On behalf of Colonel Chuck Hodges, the commander for Joint Base Lewis-McChord, it is my privilege to participate today in the unveiling of this strategic initiative. It also warms my heart that a former infantry officer participated in this construction. I'm a 30-year veteran, former infantry officer, and this is my third time to go through a post-war, post-conflict strategic reset or drawdown. And by far, we are so much further ahead in what we've done working with the King County Regional Initiative, the state, and other federal partners, nonprofits, and private organizations to make this drawdown period or strategic reset the best one by far. We can anticipate about 13,000 veterans returning from the Department of Defense worldwide to the state of Washington for the foreseeable future. And so we want to do the best we can to make their pathway as seamless as possible as they transition from someplace in the globe here in our community. And we held our first Washington State Military Transition Council this week as part of Governor Inslee's first executive order in office that he signed back in July on Joint Base Lewis McChord. It warmed my heart to see the outpouring of support from across all the agencies this week down at Camp Murray. And we referenced your initiative as the example that we think the rest of the state and the nation could use in the way they try to help support veterans. So thank you for all you've done.
Sir. Appreciate it. I don't know about the whole infantry officer thing, but I really like your Huskies lapel pin. That's very nice. Any of the folks who've spoken, as well as the staff who were mentioned and really should be called out by name, though we won't do that this morning, but did a great job, would be able to answer your questions. And also, I think we have folks who can explain in more detail the maps, so you understand a little bit about the difficulty that was involved in trying to draw together a comprehensive look at veteran services. Are there any questions for any of the folks here? Well, if not, everyone's happy to talk with you individually, and I want to thank you for joining us today for the unveiling of our Regional Veterans Initiative. Thank you.